So I see in the news that Texas has banned online porn, and it said that other nations and states like Florida are going to be soon following suit. Honestly, I don't know what the world's coming to. What do you call a man with a car on his head? An ambulance, of course, for fuck's sake. Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to the Black Dog 169.
I'm actually going to use that one tomorrow. My desk neighbour will be so pleased. You only get one, Darren. You know that, don't you? What? No, surely not. Yeah, one a day.
One a day. That's all you get.
One a day.
Oh, well, I'm glad I actually performed a joke. There you go. Success. It's only been 169 episodes of this shit, but we got there. Anyway, hello. Welcome to Black Dog 169. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
I'm Elton.
And this week we'll see how everyone's week's been, except for me, because fuck all's happened. And then we will move on to this week's movie, which is my choice, which is like totally killer. Well, actually, it shouldn't be said like that because it's totally problematic, the 1980s, apparently. So, anyway, yes. So, we'll be doing that. And if it's rubbish, blame David Renane over in New Zealand. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, throw him under the bus. Throw him early. It's not
preemptive strike.
Preemptive strike. It's not my fault. No. Anyway, there you go. We'll find out what everyone thinks about that a bit later on. But first, let's find out how everyone's week's been, or their Easter break, or is it your holiday of non-determinate specificity? It's just a break. How was your holiday break? Your preordained bank holiday based around various different things. Jim.
Mine was very nice, very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So I did. Me and Tallulah the dog, we took a walk over to my dad's, and he did a lovely roast leg of lamb.
Nice,
which was enjoyed by all.
Mm-hmm.
And even though two of us, Dad managed to cook for six, I came home with a huge plate full, and so yesterday night I just had instant roast dinner. Plate in microwave, ding. Another huge feast, which I'm still full from.
Nice.
So that was a result.
Nice.
That was very, very pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Less pleasant. I did make an error of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Madam Web.
Oh, you're the first one of the four to fall.
It's you. You're the one.
Yes.
Yeah. And?
Well, I don't think it's as bad as people say it is, but equally, it's not very good.
I'm shocked.
Mean, the cast is good. I do like Dakota Johnson. It's nicely shot. It's nicely filmed. There's good performances. But the problem is, sort of plot-wise, talk about underpowered.
Yeah.
It feels like a feature-length pilot for like a late 80s TV show.
Right.
There's a lot of jibber-jabber and not an awful lot of action. And it's kind of, I don't think this needs to be 2 hours. I think we could have done this plot in probably 45 minutes and then gone on to something a bit more interesting.
Oh, God.
They didn't listen to Mr. T, did they?
They didn't,
when he said, quit your jibber-jabber.
They certainly didn't. It was just kind of like, nothing happened in this. I mean, I was really quite sort of engaged with it. I was going, and you finished. Okay. That was a bit, was it on a TV budget? I mean, Sony, where's the money? You sold a lot of cassettes. I know you did. Come on. You're going to splash the cash. And that's why there was that infamous story about that man who, and the popcorn bucket.
Yes.
Now, if that gave you the impression that this was a film with lots and lots of sexy chicks, let me disabuse you of that notion now. Having seen it, I think he was probably just passing the time because he was bored.
It was definitely passing something.
There's not a lot of gratuitous, scantily clad females. This isn't one for the spank bank, unless you got some very, very peculiar and very, very odd fetishes for people fully clothed. Maybe, I don't know.
I love.
But it's, if you're thinking, oh well, I might give it a watch. You might be a bit sexy. It isn't.
Do you think he might have actually not gone in with the popcorn, but actually about midway through got bored, come out to the concession stand and bought one, and then went back in?
I think so. He's you could easily do that in this movie and not miss a thing.
Now, wasn't there like a Batwoman film that got canned, and it was all like a tax write-off recently?
Yeah, that was with Warner Brothers.
I was at Warner Brothers. Okay, so what's Madame Web under? Is that
Sony Spider-Verse?
Oh,
because
okay.
they still have the rights to Spider-Man. You see,
Yeah.
But Marvel have kind of done a deal where Sony can't use Spider-Man, but they still have rights to all the other Spider characters like Venom and Madam Web and Spider-Woman and
fuck Sony.
Morbius, yeah.
Morbius. Oh yeah, that's a name
From what I hear, the stars who were actually in this film weren't told that this was Marvel done by Wish.com, right? They all thought they were actually properly part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, none of that 7-year contract. Give me the few million quid up front. Bollocks for you, young ladies.
Exactly.
you are in the Sony league.
Indeed. You're in the same league as, say, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where, yes, you see that toilet over there? Thor sat on that toilet. Yes, we're cleaning up around that toilet. We're not going to show you Thor because he's off doing some stuff. Yes, and we can't afford to have him in this episode. I mean, he's busy. He's just really, really busy. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. They're somewhere else. Honest to God.
They are. They're just off camera,
and we can't.
Hi, Thor. See you.
No.
He's gone.
Yeah, so Madam Web is actually set before Spider-Man has become Spider-Man.
Oh.
Yes. Yep.
Right.
Which is kind of makes it all, because it starts in the 70s with the prologue, then it goes 30 years later, and I thought, hang on, it's still a bit.
Yeah, still a bit early for Peter Parker.
Just probably far too early for him to exist. He's just a glint in the milkman's eye. And I thought, well, maybe we'll get 20 years later. No, no.
So,
forget it.
So that makes things even more of a problem when you consider that the bad guy dresses up like Spider-Man, doesn't he?
Yep.
You don't want to know where that nonsense comes from. You really don't. No. I don't know how canonical it is. I'm not that into the minutiae of Spider-Man.
No.
That character is he's quite he's quite well known within the comics.
Is he?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Moving on swiftly.
Oh right. Okay. 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 I was just going to say, so he's got a Spider-Man costume 20 years before Spider-Man makes his Spider-Man costume, and so everyone suddenly thinks there's a villain coming back.
I don't know.
Sure. Hey, get it
so
right
you
off
got
my
a Spider-Man movie for me? Actually, I've got a pre-Spider-Man movie for you. Oh.
So you made it through to the end then, Jim? And
I did. It was,
are you looking forward to more Adventures of Madam Web?
I'd be very surprised if there were any more, to be honest.
They already announced this was a standalone.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's like a pilot for a TV series that isn't going to happen now. That was my takeaway.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. I really don't. It's kind of, you could have done this film in half the time and then,
forgotten
done something else and, spent some money and had some proper spider, female spider superhero in action. But no, we didn't get that. No.
Or you could just make more Into the Spider-Verse movies. That's what you could do,
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, same here.
But there you go. you give these things a go sometimes, and sometimes
Yeah.
I should have listened to my better judgment and just ignored it like I did Morbius, but no,
Yeah, be careful, Jim. Be careful. That's sorry. I was going to say don't evoke Morbius's name.
Don't say it three
often.
times.
Don't
Jared
say-
Leto will appear and ruin your movie.
Exactly. He'll turn up and start singing sort of 30 Seconds to Mars songs or something at you. Anyway, yeah. So that's not a recommendation then, is that?
No,
what I'm
not
getting?
really. No, it's for completed Sony, I think. Really.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Cool. Anything else, sir?
No, I'll leave that there, I think.
Okay. Fair enough. Cool. Elton, over to you, sir.
Okay, so we had the kids come up this weekend. Jacob and Maddie came up, and we had a full house, which was nice. I think it's like the first time since Christmas, maybe even before Christmas, but we had everyone up. So it was a traitors weekend.
Sorry, what?
It was a traitors weekend.
Yeah, you say that like I know what the hell that is.
Okay, so there is a program on BBC, I think it is. Yeah, BBC.
Claudia Winkleman.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Her of the eyebrows.
Okay.
yeah. And I think I ended up watching one episode with my mum months ago.
Right.
I was like, okay, that's all right. I didn't really think anything of it. Halfway through a series, of okay, fine, leave it. And then the kids came up going, no, we want to do this. And we've bought the board game as well. I was like, okay, so this is going to be the whole weekend, is it? Okay.
Right.
And so we chomped through 7 episodes of this.
Right.
I think there's 12 episodes in the series. So we're working our way through. And it's all right. The first episode, though, man, it's... there's a lot of filler in that. There's a lot of sweeping helicopter shots. And
people walking in slow motion towards it.
yeah,
Right.
and oh look, we'll put some chat on in a car, and
Yeah.
beautiful scenery in Scotland. Turns out it's quite a nice place.
Yeah. Who knew?
You get to see a lot of it in this first episode. Once you get past that and all the introductions, it's all right. It's a bit of fun. It's a normal 2020s quiz show. God, we're actually saying that now. Jeez. I know.
Okay.
But it's just a normal quizzy type, not reality type thing, but lots of games and stuff. So that was fine. I was enjoying watching that with them. And then we got the board game. And we cracked out the board game, and it looks like the table that they sit around, and okay, that's fine. And trying to make head nor tail of this thing, though, man, it was I have trouble reading things at the best of times.
Right.
Trying to work out board games is not my forte. So I was there trying to read it, and I just wouldn't go in. I couldn't work it out. So we all sat down, read it all together, and worked it out, and placed all the cards where they needed to go. And there's like 6 games that you can play. And I'm thinking, that's a lot of game for one night. That's more than Monopoly. That's more like a weekend's worth. I thought, I don't know if I can do 6 games of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll try one. For anyone who does buy this game, please make sure you don't mix up some certain traitor cards. It will come out in order. What I'd made the mistake of is going, oh, there's a card there, placing it on the side and going through. Oh, there's another card there, placing it on the side and going through the pack. And oh, there's another card there, placing it on the side. No, I don't know why they're all in there. That's a silly thing to do, shuffling them all up and dealing them all out. And yeah, they need to be in there.
Right.
And they need to be in a specific order, because when you're playing and you're the traitor, you're given tasks to do during the game.
Right.
And if you've got the wrong card, you don't know what you're doing.
So what you're basically saying is you fucked up the game and spend a weekend finding out.
Yes, I did. Yeah. So during the game, you get given tasks to do around the house or around either the board or on a piece of paper or anything like that. One of the tasks is to build a tower knee height with stuff that gets bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine like a small cushion, and then you put a bigger cushion on it, and put a bigger cushion on it, and put the biggest cushion on it, and it has to come up to your knee. And if you do that, great.
Mm-hmm.
When I looked at the correct card, it said I must insert a green.
Easy, Darren.
Steady.
I must try to carefully insert something that is green. No, not Kermit's finger. No.
Not his finger, but
No. I don't like the away game so much now, do you?
Oh no, hiccups. No.
oh god,
No, not hiccups. Anyway,
Miss Piggy's got a zipper. Yep.
so imagine I had a green jumper on, and I placed that on there as well. And that would be my traitorous thing to do for me to get points so I can actually murder people in the middle of the night. I have got hiccups now, damn it.
Okay.
Okay?
We'll work around it. We won't draw attention to it.
But because I didn't have the correct card, it said something totally different, like draw 4 lines. And I was looking at this going, I don't know what that fucking means.
I've not got that much coke in the house.
Yeah, I've messed this up royally. And I
Nice.
and so I'm sat there, and so you get blindfolds in this game as well. And
Kinky.
yeah, you put the blindfolds on and you bash on the table. It doesn't look like a cult at all.
No.
But you start bashing on the table so you can't hear other people doing things or the traitor doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to read this card and it's not making any sense whatsoever. And yeah, I just royally fucked it up. There is one game where we had to run around and pick up things in the house beginning with S.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what I was meant to do, but it said, I think, refer to question 3. And I was like, I don't know what this means.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know what I'm trying to do. So I'm running into the kitchen, grabbing all the spoons. I come back with all the spoons and all the socks and all the soap. And it doesn't mean anything. I don't know what we're doing.
Okay.
It's very frustrating. Like my explanation of the actual game itself. I know I can hear that you don't know what I'm on about. It's fine.
No,
it's cool.
I genuinely don't. But I you. Well done, you.
Yeah, well done, me.
Well done, Elton. I'm sure.
But it's the thing is, it's supposed to be fun when you like kill people in the middle of the night, and people. It's the paranoia type thing of discussion. Let's talk about this. I think you're the killer. I think you're the killer, and that was supposed to be a fun thing. Whereas I got the wrong card and fucked it all up, so nobody got killed during the night, and so everyone's like, "Well, it must be Dad because I don't think he'd have the guts to kill anyone." It's like, oh, okay, fine, great, thanks. And
low moral fibre.
yeah. We looked at the rule. Once the game had ended, it was like, oh no. Oh, I've got the wrong thing here, haven't I? Oh, balls.
That line from, was it A Knight's Tale? You have been weighed, you have been measured, and you have been found wanting.
You have been
Yes.
judged.
Yes. I wasn't supposed to put beef in the trifle. Oh, shit.
Euphemism? No?
So hold on. Sorry.
Euphemism.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Can I just ask then, if it's just your family, that's 5 of you, right?
Yeah.
So how does anyone judge that the traitor's done the right job? Because that would obviously take one of you out of it. One of you would have to be the Claudia in this whole situation. Because then it cuts it down to 4, which doesn't make it seem like a particularly big Traitors game, if I'm understanding this correctly.
Yeah.
And I have just Googled the damn thing, so I'm doing rapid reading at the same time.
No, I think you can get away with it. There's a lot of trust of not people not looking over their blindfolds when that moment comes. And you do need a smartphone with like a alarm clock on it, so you can set like a minute timer so you can do your thing. Yeah, there is a little bit of trust involved, I think. And I think if it was played right, it'll be pretty good. It'll be a bit of fun. Just don't mix up the cards. Just leave them as they are, in order, and don't fuck around. It comes out the box like that. So yeah, don't play around. My fault. Hold my hands up. I screwed it up.
So who would you have had as Claudia in this game? Was there
the brows? Yes.
Yeah. Did you have a Claudia in the game at all?
Yeah, we did. Yes. So Maddie was on a Skype call with her family when we first. Well, we all sat down, and then it was time for her to disappear for a Skype call. So she went off and did that with her family. And when she came back, we were already halfway through playing it, so she decided to be the Claudia.
She comes back into the room to find all of the family with bandages over their eyes.
Yes, yeah, banging the table.
Banging the table. I was going to say, is this Ready or Not again? You've been welcomed into the house, but first you have to survive the night.
Yeah, I suppose it was kind of like that, yeah. But she ended up getting her phone and putting on the official music from Spotify and playing that around people's heads and whizzing her phone around people's heads. So it's very atmospheric.
Wow. It's almost like you're in that high value BBC castle.
Yeah, it was like 4D cinema. I don't know.
4D cinema. Oh, good Lord. Right. Sorry. The only reason I'd say, oh, good Lord, is because the last time I was in a 4D cinema, I went to see Ant-Man. And the seats would go up and down based on whether or not he shrank or grew. And there's one point where he's kind of
immersive.
Yeah, it was.
Ant-Man's getting bigger, and Leo's getting larger.
It was, and there I was sitting in this.
Ant-Man is getting larger.
What part of the seat?
Avengers assemble.
This is how he destroys Thanos. Oh my god. Yeah, no, and I came out with what felt like a spinal injury by the time it got to the conclusion, with him changing size about every 30 seconds. It was like, oh fuck, I'm going up, down, like a motorcycle suspension. It was just like, oh my god, I was all over the place. Yeah, don't do that. Never do that again. Sorry. Anyway, carry on.
No, that's it.
I
want to hear about more of you going up and down like some suspension.
I didn't realise there's a thing you can put on there's a button that you got on the side of this seat which sets how violent your 4DX seats will move, and I didn't realise that until after the film had ended, and I was literally there's a bit where
what is it? Is it BMX, mountain bike, Pornhub?
Yeah, exactly.
Are they like watchwords for the Winter Soldier from Bromley or something?
Yeah. Tea bag, coffee cup, rice cake, activate.
Don't let him listen to the shipping forecast. I'll tell you that now, because
that'll set him right off.
Oh yeah.
But no, so you're just sitting there, and as Ant-Man's sort of running along, and then he does this whole training montage where he keeps trying to get bigger and smaller and all this kind of thing with his suit and trying it out for the first time, and you're sort of sitting there and you're like, okay, this is quite funny. Oh fucking no! And your seat's going, and you go, and all you can hear in the cinema is all these seats are going up and down. And that was the only time I ever tried it. Yeah, damn near came out with a compressed spine. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so that is it, sir. So
yeah.
Did you were the traitor, were you?
I was, yes.
And you didn't get away with it because you were shit with the cards.
I was terrible. I blamed the cards, But then again, I shuffled the cards, so I blame me. So yeah, I blame me for everything.
So you were actually a super traitor because you were such a traitor that you actually scuppered yourself.
I could have actually just killed people anyway and said, well, it's a very traitory thing to do. So I got the wrong card. Screw you guys.
Yeah.
I've gone rogue.
Exactly. It's a game about trust and a game about finding out who's the worm in the sandwich, so to speak. And then all of a sudden, there you are, fucking things up. I think that's the best way to play it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it would be a good game, but we didn't really play it, so we didn't play it rightly. Anyway.
Yeah, and your son's girlfriend is now terrified of walking into the house alone without him around because you might all be still walking around in your jinx.
Yeah,
blinds.
we have a lot of candles and a lot of hooded stuff, and
Yeah. Are you only good? Are you only good at fighting with the blinds around your eyes?
Yes, like Jinx.
That's what I said. That's why I was giving you the other prompt, mate. I was trying to ease you into it, but never mind. Anyway, Darren.
Yeah. Hello.
How was your week?
How was my week? I've not really had that much time off this week. I've worked.
Oh,
I worked nearly all the way through the Easter holiday.
You're right, babe.
No, I'm not. I'm not at all.
Oh
No, I'm all wrong. That's what I am.
Oh, right.
Oh,
but you're getting the overtime, right?
Oh God, yeah. There's going to be a substantial amount of overtime coming out of this. So
you'd be like Scrooge McDuck again. So it's fine.
I certainly will. Yes, diving into a fucking swimming pool of money and breaking my face on the hard coinage. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be able to upgrade those pizza boxes that are your sofa now.
I certainly will. Indeed. But there you go. But let's see. What have I done apart from that this week? Well, I watched a TV program which seems to be quite popular at the moment. One called Blue Eyed Samurai.
Oh yeah.
Which is on Netflix. Yeah, fucking brilliant. I love it. I've just got 2 episodes left to go of it. There was one episode. It's only been one episode so far that I've been a little bit sort of with, but the content is absolutely brilliant. It's a classic sort of story of revenge in feudal Japan. It takes place at a time when all foreigners were told to bugger off, and they closed their doors to the rest of the world.
Yeah, didn't know Japan had done Brexit.
Yes, they had. They did. They did their own Brexit before we did.
Yeah.
And during that time, anybody that wasn't Japanese was considered an illegal alien and executed and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
And if you were half Japanese and half any other race, you were considered a monster. And this is what the story centers around. It centers around this one individual who is half white, half Japanese, and has blue eyes, but covers them up with a pair of these like tinted glasses that they wear. And it's about their journey on out for revenge on 4 individuals that she's looking for.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have to say, absolutely brilliant. The fight scenes are fantastic. I really like the main character as well. You could quite easily put Batman in the character's place because they literally are. The way they kind of carry themselves and the combat skills and stuff. Yeah, could be Batman.
Kind of like a ninja Batman. Then.
Yeah. Do you know that? That's exactly where I was
Nothing
going.
like a fucking ninja Batman.
Are you
can
sure?
fuck off. Yes, you can fuck off.
You sure? Because I mean, you know,
fuck off now. Fuck off.
It's
Don't
like
come near me.
It's like
Fuck
Batman.
off.
It's like Batman in a feudal Japan,
No.
making his way through there. We're in a world which shuns him.
Whose choice is it this week?
Oh,
mine.
Yeah.
Oh, do it.
It's funny you brought up. Ninja Batman, isn't it? Really, Jim? It's kind of curious.
Whose choice is it?
Darren?
Yeah,
It's Jim's.
Darren, you like Batman though, yeah?
I like Batman. Yeah.
You like ninjas?
No, I hate them.
You like
You hate
samurai?
ninjas?
No, I hate ninja. Yeah, I can't fucking stand them. No.
Well, it's too late now.
Terrible things. Batman good, ninjas not so good. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Seems like a bit of a twist from what we've just been hearing, but there you go.
Yeah.
Seems.
I'm trying to derail any further thoughts of going down.
Did you like the game Shinobi?
No, terrible, appalling game.
What about The Last Ninja? Did you like that?
I'm glad it's the last one. Then there won't be any more.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, Teenage Mutant Needle Teetles.
Did you like the Jimmy Hill fighting game, Shinobi?
Has that got the little mini game where you're taking pickled onions out of a jar with his? Thank you very much, Jasper Carrot.
Yep. Wow.
Deep cut, nice.
I was going to
It
say,
is, yeah.
we haven't even got to the time travel movie yet, and we've gone right back to the beginning of the 80s. Way.
Hey, further than that, man, funky moped. So,
Jesus Christ.
the lights were groovy colours.
There are people all over the world listening to this now going, what the fuck are they talking about?
What the fuck is a funky moped? I've no idea. Quickly, get me Google on the phone.
What are these 1920s gangsters?
Yeah.
We've drifted in time now. Anything's possible. Could be Vikings next.
That's it. Libsyn's given us all the stats. We are very big in the 1920s.
Hey, Bugsy,
Yeah.
give me that Batman Ninja thing.
Yeah. What is this, a DVD? Where you going to get that from?
You use a keyboard? What the fuck is a keyboard? What's this Wi-Fi?
What do you
Sounds like
mean?
Wise Guy.
What do you mean you're cast in a pod? What the heck is this shit? You come to me, one of the local mob bosses, and you come to me and you say you got a podcast. What's a podcast now? You tell me.
Hey, I'm podcasting here. Yeah.
Yeah. See, all of our listeners, 1920s gangsters from really bad Jimmy Cagney impersonations from the universe.
I'm gonna get on a microphone. See.
I'm going to speak to the masses. I'm going to be king of the world. Yeah, it's the only.
I watch Barbie on DVD. See, yeah.
Yeah. Look, Ma, look at me. I'm podcasting to the world, especially that one guy in North Korea. We're doing business here.
Hey, Tony. Bada
It's a
bang.
euphemism.
Yay.
Tony, I want to know. You tell me. You come to me, you tell me. I want to know. What is an itty-bitty titty bag? I don't understand. These people are talking nuts, you see? I can't even tell you what a cobra la 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 is. You taking the fucking piss? You fucking with me now? You fucking with me, Tony? What the fuck is a cobra la la la?
Who the fuck is Tony? I don't know.
I'm supposed to be dealing with the boss here. I'm not supposed to be talking no la 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 nonsense. Shut up, Wesley. What are you talking about? I'm going. What is a Tetsu and a Canada and a loobity doobity doobity? I don't get it. So that was your week, Dale.
Oh man.
So
Well, that wasn't the only thing that I did watch this week.
don't tell me you watched White Heat with Jimmy Cagney. Go on.
No.
Dick Tracy.
I watched something else.
Go on.
There was and I'm thinking of throwing this one into the ring because it's going to be interesting to see what you guys think of it. Way back in 1983, a film came out starring Alan Arkin and Christopher Lee.
Oh my
Oh
god!
yes.
Yeah, it's just hit.
No.
It's just hit Amazon, right? Or not very long ago. And the only thing I remember seeing of it was a clip of Christopher Lee singing, because this film is a superhero sort of musical. It's got musical numbers in it. And all I remember from way back then in the mist of time is the line from Christopher Lee, "You better choose your poison or I'll have to get the boys in."
Yeah, there's a whole song about that where he tempts him with booze.
Yep, there is. And it's actually not that bad. But I've been watching it. And there are some you can tell the film has aged a bit because some
Do you want to tell us what it is?
Yeah, it's called The Return of Captain Invincible.
Oh God!
And it's a few years after. Let's see, it came out a few years after Superman the movie, but about 6-7 years before the Batman film with Michael Keaton in it.
Mm-hmm.
So Superman does alcohol.
I haven't seen that since it came out, and I remember putting it in the same sort of category as Michael Crawford as Condor Man, insofar as I watched it and went, nah, just nah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Some of the musical numbers remind me of Rocky Horror.
The music, I think, is the best part in that movie.
It's a musical.
Sort of.
It's sort of a musical. It's not entirely a musical.
I don't know if it's like. Is there some sort of measure of pound for pound how many songs you have in a certain sort of time frame within the movie? Does that makes it a musical?
No, I think if any of your main characters actually sing a song, it's a musical.
Then in that case, both the villain and the hero.
Oh God! Alan Arkin singing.
He hasn't got that much of a bad voice. If I've got to be honest, he can hold a tune, right?
Yeah, but can he run with it? It's just
he can actually.
Yeah,
it's not. Oh, let's see.
Elton, this is your kind of film. You know what I'm talking about? Hey. It's got superheroes in it. Hey. It's got superheroes in it. It's got old and it's got singing. It's everything.
It's got old.
It's got old, yeah.
It's everything you could possibly want in a movie. You dig me? You feeling what I'm saying? You come over here, talk to Fat Lee. He'll set you right.
You can't say that anymore.
I'm talking about me. It's fine.
Is it?
If I'm not offended by my own insults of my own self, then I don't think anyone else has got them.
I'm offended by the words that you've said about yourself.
Oh, good Lord. Are you going to be like Tammy in bloody American Fiction?
I was going to say, there's a quote from last week. If I think I got over it, I think you can too.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, sounds like right up your street though, Elton.
Yeah, you're gonna love this one, Elton. You really are. Yep.
Don't worry, you'll have forgotten it by next week, Elton. Don't worry, mate. It'll be gone. It'll be gone. We'll be
Batman
off.
Ninja.
We'll be off to
Ninja.
We'll be off to Batman Ninja Land before you can tell. Hey, that Batman. He looks like a bat. He looks like a man. He's a ninja. What do you want? He fights with bamboo sticks and batarangs. What's a batarang? I don't know.
Hey, what's with the pointy ears? Hey!
That's some Halloween costume you got there, buddy.
Why has he got a thing on called bat pants? What's that? Yeah.
What's a bat credit card? What's a credit card? I don't know.
Why has he got nipples? Why does a man that's a bat have nipples?
I have nipples. Can you milk me? What's the point of that?
Get a stool under me. Hey!
Too much bran in your diet.
I think so.
Anyway, so Return of Captain Invincible. Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see how I feel about it. I've got to finish it, and I'll let you know after it.
And so you ain't even finished it. That's a good
I've
sign.
not even finished it yet. No.
That's a
I started
bad
watching
sign.
it on the train home, so it was like, yeah. But we'll see. If worst comes to worst, I will track down a copy of Supersonic Man and we'll fucking watch that. And trust me, you won't thank me for that at all.
Is that going to be
Not
your
at all.
G.I. Joker play for this season?
That is my G.I. Joker play.
G.I.
Or I may
Joker.
fall on my, who knows? I may fall on my sword and actually suggest Batman Ninja myself. And then you'll all be fucking sorry.
Yeah, but at least we know we're taking you down with us.
Yeah,
We know that one's causing you pain.
You know what?
Mm.
I might just do that. Then I'll just come punch myself in the bollocks for 2.5 hours. Because that'll be less painful. It really will.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go and lick the middle rail in the local station.
Yep. That's what I'm
Nice.
going to do.
Okay.
Fantastic. Super
Nice.
duper.
Nice.
So,
Right.
the only other thing that I've done this week
Mm-hmm.
is I've managed to finally get round to playing a game called Stray,
Oh yes.
which is, for anybody who's not familiar with it, it's about a cat. You play a cat in a robot city,
Mm-hmm.
city full of robots.
Mhm.
I've actually quite enjoyed it because you get to do proper cat things like stand there hitting stuff until it falls off shelves and stuff. And it's
You have
that
to like
kind of,
go out of a door, then demand to come back in, then
Yeah.
demand to go back out again.
exactly.
Is this in the feline version of that goose game then?
I think it
Where you have to
is.
just be an arsehole.
Yep. That's right. You get to go and shit on people's gardens as well. So
Nice.
there you go.
This sounds
you
like
go.
a winner to me. It's gonna be.
Nice.
It's actually quite good. I really enjoyed it. It's quite a popular game as well, from what I hear.
Right.
But yeah, very, very good. Looks beautiful, very good. And yeah, it's just great. As you say, Jim, it is the goose game for cats. So yeah, there you go. That's me. I'm done. I'm out.
Right.
Peace
okay.
Peace out, motherfucker.
Peace.
CB4. Yeah.
And that's me out. I'm out. I've just thought it out. I'm gonna go get myself a cannoli. I'm gonna sit it out. I got nothing. I really ain't. I had a bloody great headache yesterday, and that's about the size of it. I think that's probably it. I watched Gladiators, the TV Gladiators. Yeah, that's about it really. I've done nothing, and anything I have done would induce me into rage. So I can't really say that online because it's work. So I'll leave it there. I had Easter. There you go. Oh, stuff.
Anybody have any interest in Easter eggs? No.
Biscuit
No.
and caramel.
I had no Easter eggs.
Biscuit and caramel.
I had the
Too old,
biscuit
apparently.
raisin Yorkie one.
Yeah.
There's a whole egg with all that in it. Yeah,
There you go.
quite lovely.
Well, there you go. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a subject for podcasting, that, isn't it?
Yep.
That's, yeah. There was nothing upon the wasteland of chance.
Bong. But anyway, let's move on because I have done absolutely sweet Fanny fucking Adams. So we'll leave it there. We do have a bit of feedback, only a little bit, mind you, and that is from, he says, desperately trying to get back to the group because he moved away and he's now lost the fucking page. Oh God! Please stand by while I do this. Yes, we did review American Fiction last week, and we only got one piece of feedback, which was from Martin Thompson, who wrote down on the Facebook group that American Fiction, The central premise of this reminds me of an old episode of Family Guy, which Brian wrote a joke self-help book and then hated when it became popular. I did expect the book plot to take up more of the movie, but I wonder if the family stuff was intended to be a contrast with that. The real story of a black family rather than the story that Monk made up and was parodying. Good point. In fact, I do remember that Family Guy episode. And, now you mention it, it's like, oh yeah, that's that's exactly right, isn't it? It was Family Guy. It's like the modern day Simpsons invented everything kind of thing. Wasn't that a Family Guy episode? Yes, it was. So that was it. But if anybody has any feedback for any episode or this one or previous episodes, then by all means send in feedback to feedback@Black Dog Podcast, or you can jump on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast, and leave a comment underneath the episode. Right, I think we'll leave it there before I completely demolish the atmosphere. And we'll take a break. We'll collect our thoughts. We'll come back again.
I'm having a break here.
We're having a break here, and then what we'll do is we'll come back to Totally Killer. Till then, roll the jingle, won't you? Right, so Totally Killer. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not going to do that. Totally Killer is a 2023 American slasher comedy film directed by Nana Chaka Khan. From the
Chaka Khan.
Chaka Khan, the Rock. Anyway, from a screenplay by David Matalon, Sasha Pearl Raver, and Jen D'Angelo. The screen story by Matalon and Pearl Raver, and it was produced by Jason Blum under his Blumhouse television banner. Interesting. So it was a TV movie. The story follows Jamie, played by Kierman. Is it Kierman Shipka? I can never pronounce her name. I'm doing well with names. Why do I always get the movies with the dodgy names?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Kiernan.
Yeah, it stars Kierman.
Sheernan Kit Kat.
Yeah, Benadryl Cumbersnatch.
Shere Khan the Tiger.
Kit Kat Slipknot. Kiernan.
Uptown Marzipan.
Kiernan Brennan Shipka and Olivia Holt and Julie Bowen. The story follows Jamie, who after her mother is murdered by the same Sweet 16 killer who went on a murder spree 35 years earlier, travels back in time to 1987, where she pairs up with her mother and her friend's mother to catch a killer during his original killing spree and return her to her original timeline before she's trapped in the past forever. Totally Killer premiered at Fantastic Fest on the 28th of October 2023 and was released on Amazon Prime October 6, 2023. As is traditional with these straight-to-streaming Amazon, Netflix-owned things, we have no budget and we have no box office at all. So, what do you think it made, Jim?
2 million bags of 1980s hash brownies.
Nice. Is there a twig in that? What about you, Eldon?
I've no idea, but this is a crime scene. Nobody move.
Yep. Okay. Darren, what about you? Thanks. Thanks, Dal.
I got nothing.
Okay. Well, actually, you're all wrong because what it actually made was Ooh, Bad Touch and and Watch Out for Fat Pam. Is it Fat Pam? Yeah.
No, you can't say that.
You can't say that. That's it. You bullied her. So, we'll go round the table, find out what everyone thought, and then we'll have a bit of chat about it. So, let's go round. Obviously, it's my pick, so I'll go last. So, we'll start with you, Elton. What did you think, briefly, about Totally Killer?
This was awful. Absolutely dreadful, awful waste of time and space and energy and celluloid and whatever they recorded. They should all just be burned. It's a load of guff. Utter bobbins.
Elton, what have I told you about being discreet about the way you feel about things? I don't know. Did you like it? Did you not like it?
Inside voice, Elton. Inside.
Was it? Were you nonplussed by it? I mean, it's a very non-committal answer you've just given to that question. Sorry.
It was a bit meh. I think the kids are saying
it's a bit mid. Okay. So I'll put you down as a maybe then. Jim, what about you, sir?
I thought this was a missed opportunity, really. I thought it was very, very lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it relied an awful lot on chemistry set Kit Kat, or whatever her name is, to carry the film.
Chemistry set Kit Kat. Right, okay.
Is that your Top Gun name?
It might be. That might be now.
Chemistry set, pull up. He's pulling 12 G's. Kit Kat got his wing. Okay. Darren, what do you think?
I actually thought it was quite a laugh, actually.
Yeah?
I thought it was a silly piece of entertainment.
Mm.
Actually quite, I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
Once you get to a point where you know that they're going to go back in time somewhere, and like, how do you get it? And then they go, oh yes, well I've just invented this, and it's like, well there you go, the gloves are off there. This is not to be taken seriously at all. So I won't.
Right.
My brain has shut up shop and it's gone for a sandwich. Yes. I'm just going to sit here and just take it in.
The body will absorb. The brain will be somewhere else doing something
Indeed
else.
It will. Yeah.
Okie dokie. Cool. I fall somewhere between you, Jim, and you, Elton. I watched it and I was willing to like it all the way through. And there were bits and tiny pieces that I thought, oh, that's interesting. That's cool. That's from that movie. That's from that movie. That's from that movie. And then I just came away by the end going, I'd much rather have watched all the movies it was ripping off.
Mm-hmm.
That was it, really. We can't say too much because of the spoilers and whatnot. But yeah, I kind of came away thinking, a bit like Jim, I was sort of like, yeah, I kind of wished it was better than it was. But, yeah. So there you go. That's an early night for everyone.
I think it is.
That's it.
Good night, everyone.
So what are we doing next week, Jim? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, you got our vibe. You got our vibe for it, ladies and gentlemen. You can tell we were.
It was awful.
Still not getting it, Elton. I'm really.
Yeah.
I mean,
is this your piece of wood?
Are you sure? Are you sure you're getting the idea across? Really? Yeah. So yeah. Well, this is our thought. That's our general thoughts. If you want to watch the film, make your own mind up, which is I would suggest you do. Obviously, do pause it here, go off and watch the film, come back, and we'll have nothing to say. But we'll be we'll be straight after the spoiler zone. We'll be discussing this and giving away a few things, I'm sure. But yes, that's that. So yeah, off you go. Spoiler zone incoming.
Euphemism.
An itty bitty ditty bag. Cobra la 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 la.
Shut up, Wesley.
Right, okay.
So how are we going to pad out the next 10 minutes?
Hold on. Okay. I get it. I don't know where to start with this. Okay, fine. Let's start with the actual time travel element to it. Better yet, actually, let's go back a step. Did you find this was a comedy horror? Did you find any elements of this either comedic and humorous and make you laugh, or did you find any particular bits tense and horrifying? Let's start with that.
The first murder I thought was quite brutal.
What, of the mum?
The mum, yeah. That it suddenly took a bit of a right turn, and that was like, oh, this is a bit much. You know?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That was probably the most effective horror sequence in it.
Which they completely then undid by going, oh yeah, it's just like that film Scream, where you think was it Drew Barrymore's the main character, but she isn't, and it's just like, oh, it's that kind of film. And that's almost kind of where it lost me once it started referring to itself by the films that it was ripping off.
Yep.
As if that was kind of excusing it.
Yeah, this is the laziness inherent in the movie, unfortunately. Yeah. It's kind of, now this isn't a script, this is notes for a script.
Yeah.
You take these off and then you go and write it up properly. But don't just say, then we're going to do this bit from this movie effectively. Or we're going to use this plot point for this movie. No, you bring that to life, make it interesting. I mean, on that first murder, I thought was genuinely kind of like, ooh, that's really got some punch to it, and it was really well filmed. And at that stage in the film, you didn't know, well, will she survive? Is he going to get? Is he going to get fucked over? He's bitten off more than he can chew. Yeah, you don't know, and that made that scene work really well. So comedically, this is a crime scene. Nobody move. I think got the biggest laugh out of me.
Yeah.
But I thought a lot of the other stuff was just very weak sauce. You know what I mean? You're in a log cabin. There are deer heads on the wall. You're in a slasher movie. Someone should be impaled on the deer heads, antlers. These are the rules. This is what you do. You know what I mean? There's a lot of this hasn't been thought through properly. It feels very underdeveloped, and say it's kind of, I think if you had anyone else in the lead role, it would have really sucked quite badly. But I think the good. I will not butcher her name again, but I thought she was really good. She's very likable, a lot of charisma, and she really was not so much carrying this film, but dragging it to the end.
Yeah. I'll go along with that. She. I mean, name dragging aside, I mean, she was the strongest part of the entire enterprise for sure, without a doubt. Did you like the horror scene, Elton? Was it even registering on your potato meter?
No, I think it was a poor comedy, a poor horror, a poor slasher, and a poor time travel movie all wrapped up in one. I think you're right with the lead actress dragging it, kicking and screaming till the very end. Although some of the lines that she said were just a bit jarring as well.
There were some very poor scripting choices, shall we say.
Yeah.
I don't know how forensic you want to go, but kind of, if I was to pick a scene that's kind of summed up what was wrong with this movie, it's the bit where she realised that the brownies she's eating are hash brownies. She goes, but I'm feeling nothing. And the joke is, 80s weed was really weak. And it's kind of, okay, you're demonstrating several things here. One, that isn't a joke. You're trying to present a joke, but it isn't.
Yeah.
Secondly, you know nothing about weed. And thirdly, you know nothing about the 1980s either.
Well, that's something I wanted to touch upon briefly, but I didn't want to turn it into a political screed, because you got too many people voices on the internet throwing their pennies into those particular pots. But I just wanted to ask you guys, because the film makes a big point a number of times about the time travel element, and basically trying to frame it as, you guys in the 1980s have seen Back to the Future, right? I'm Marty McFly. I'm telling you straight to your face, this is time travel, as if it's some kind of subversion.
Yeah.
So that's your first thing, okay? And they bring up Back to the Future again and again and again, and then at one point when they start talking about how the time travel is actually supposed to work, she references Avengers Endgame, which itself is well known for the fact that they actually say Back to the Future. It's not like that. It doesn't work like that. So the film itself is trying to have its cake and eat it. But the thing which both Back to the Future and Avengers Endgame to a much lesser degree do, and this is what I wanted to get to you, is when they go back in time, the observer, the main character, the hero, goes back in time and sort of goes, geez, everything was different back then. You know, what do you know? Sorry, I'm going back to me 1930s gangster. What do you know? Everything's different back in the 30s. Who could tell? What they say this? Oh, you from the future, you say? No.
Hey, I'm time traveling here.
What do you know? Tell me something. Do you have this interwebs? But no. But the joke in like Back to the Future tends to be more about the time travel element, as in, oh, you know, Goldie, you should become a mayor. Goldie, I'm going to be a mayor, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Mayor, I like the sound. Yeah. Or things like, you know, throw me a tab. And it's like, no, we don't do tabs here. You pay the bar, you know, sort of thing. And those kind of gags were kind of like, were playing on your expectations as a viewer, looking back on that time. And it wasn't just, and it was kind of you learning the background as the character was learning the background of the past era that you've ended up in. With this, totally killer. And like I say, I don't want it to turn into a massive political screed, but did you not find it slightly irritating that those kind of observations that the other films had done weren't observations? They were literally just Kian and Shipka basically pointing at things going, that's problematic. That's a bad touch. You shouldn't be smoking.
Yeah.
That's really bad, that T-shirt. And it just seemed to be, I get that the 80s weren't what they are now. Obviously, we've moved on. The world's moved on. That's fine. I'm all for it. No problems there. But your gags aren't really gags if they're just pointing at things.
No, it's just, that's why I said it felt lazy. I feel kind of, a lot of the time, if you showed someone these scenes without the soundtrack, they wouldn't get that they were happening in the 1980s. Because the look of the kids was wrong, the look of everything, there's no period detail. Whereas in Back to the Future, you can show people scenes from that without the sound, and they'll go, that's in the 50s. They will know. And but like everything in this was nothing looked authentic.
Yeah.
There's no sense of actually having travelled in time because everything looked the fucking same. I mean, if you watch it like Stranger Things, you just, again, you could take Stranger Things, you could take a scene, show that without dialogue, people go, that is the 80s. They would recognise an 80s living room from the start of the furniture, the wallpaper, the fixtures and fittings. I mean, Stranger Things is kind of, they did a very good job in just capturing those sort of incidental details that actually, although they're nothing in themselves, put them together, it all just drags you back to that time. And you go, oh, God, yes, we had wallpaper like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas this didn't even do the lazy version of that, of kind of, hey, everyone's wearing dealy poppers and leg warmers. Yeah. You know what I mean? It didn't even do that. It was just kind of, oh, it's a kid's party. How do you know it's 1987? Play a New Dawn song that American kids wouldn't have heard at that time. Thank you.
In reality, it should have looked like Back to the Future before he went back in time.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was going to say, either that or Donnie Darko if you wanted to just dampen it down a bit. Which did the same thing.
But you say it doesn't have that eye for detail. I had no sense. I mean, aside from the time travel theory, it was just actually the depiction. It just didn't feel like she travelled in time. The only thing that was noticeably different was the talking beaver. Not a euphemism.
Careful now. Gentlemen, careful.
In present day, looked like he'd been in a bend over video.
Nice. I Darren, what about you? What did you think about that? Because the time travel element and the pointing at everything rather than part of the script.
Well, the thing I listened to in this for the actual period itself, was the actual music they were playing, because that's always one for me. It's like, did this actually come out at the time they're saying it came out? Is it before this? Is it after this? You know, have I just listened to a tune that was released a year past the date they're talking about in this film?
Okay.
It seemed to, I think, from what I could guess or from what I could hear, they got music, kind of spot on for that. So Venus by, Bananarama and stuff like this. Yeah. I think that all fell within the time period. So I don't think the continuity was out there for that kind of thing. As for the look of it, that's the trouble with doing things in the 80s. A lot of stuff, people have 80s looks for part of their fashion these days. So they just look like they come from the modern age.
Yeah.
With, they're wearing something they think was in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's always quite fun, watching that kind of happen. You're like, that wasn't around at this period of time. It came later. It came well before, and nobody wore them by that time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, there is the whole thing, as you say, about the pointing fingers. And I've seen a thing.
Yes. I mean,
do you know what they were missing? I'll tell you what they were missing, and I was a little bit disappointed. Somebody with a flock of seagulls haircut. I was expecting that, like a postman or something walks along and they've got that as a haircut.
Yeah.
Like they do in the fucking Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler, where they go to the airport and the guy behind the counter has got one of those haircuts. It's like, you would not be having a job in that with a haircut like that at that period of time. You would have just been either fired or you wouldn't have got the job in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. I mean that the sense of place was up the wazoo. That it could have been any time, frankly. I didn't get that at all. I mean, apart from the sort of nominal nod to big hair, with the Rudy, was it Rudy?
It was awful.
With his big kid and play haircut, and the mum, the past times mum with sort of like one of those hairspray bouffant things that goes straight up from the forehead. Yep. But beyond that, as Jim rightly points out, I don't think you would have known it was an 80s just by looking at it.
No.
And like I say, I'm fully down with like recognizing that someone from now would go back to then and go, you fucking what? You're not checking my ID before I'm going into school. There's no school shooting, so all that kind of thing. Those kind of gags was fine, but like I said, the moment she steps out of the time machine, sees the guy with the FBI T-shirt, federal booby inspector, and just goes straight up to him and goes, that's problematic, and it's like, okay, so is this just 2019 teens go back in time to lecture everyone else about how terrible things are? Because
the problem with that is it's bashing on the 80s, whereas when Back to the Future went back to the 50s, 60s, I can't remember now, but it wasn't bashing on it at all. It was, oh wow, things are different, aren't they? Oh, look how different they are. And yet this was going back and no, this was wrong. Oh, we were so wrong. Our dads and our grandparents are so wrong about this sort of thing, and it just felt like constantly poking. It's like, look, we know certain aspects were wrong, but there's not a lot we can do about them.
It's also that thing as well. It's kind of like with the T-shirt thing. It's kind of, have you seen some of the T-shirts out there now?
Yeah.
Are things any much better? They're not really.
Yes, I'm not walking around with juicy written on my arse.
Yeah, wet ass pussy or something.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's kind of.
Oh God, I can't get the image out of my fucking head now. Thanks, Elton. Cheers, mate.
To Pornhub.
You with your tramp stamp on your ass.
Yeah, but I mean,
but the thing is, like, you know, in the 80s, we look back at the 70s, and you know, oh my God, this is unacceptable now. But you know, then the 90s came along, and I would argue some of the things in the 90s were far more unacceptable things in the 60s and the 70s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, fucking hell, that was really bang out of line. And it's kind of, you know, I'm a big believer in, you know, let him without sin cast the first stone on these sort of matters, because it is kind of, you can all fucking you fucking 20-year-old fucks, as Dan Harmon said, you can all jump up and down and go, oh, this was bad in the past, but believe you me, in less than 10 years' time, a new generation will be pointing at you, going, you guys sucked, you are terrible, you are monsters.
Yeah.
You know, life happens pretty fast, as Ferris Bueller says. And
he's a psychopath.
Exactly. And you know, things date very badly, and can date very rapidly. You'd be surprised. You know what I mean? I'm always sort of kind of. The thing was, it was just kind of. I wouldn't. There's potential there for comedy, but just going, oh, that's not right. That isn't funny. You know what I mean? It's kind of, if it had been funny, you know, or you had some sort of the weight of satire behind it, you know what I mean? You could have done more, but it just felt just so like it was pointing at something and going, that's bad. It's kind of, that's not enough to be a joke, though.
Yeah.
It's not enough to be a social comment either.
No.
It's just, again, it's like a sketch of what the script should have been.
Yeah. I mean, if she was shown to be pretty judgmental already, you know, if she was shown to be someone who had like a moral compass, like a straight die moral compass, you know, on all things where we are right now, then okay, you can play that into it, you know, that every time she appears and sort of sees something that she doesn't like, she's shocked and outraged and whatnot, and you could build an entire thing around that. You know, whether it's her, you know, can't wait to get out of the 80s, you know, it's the spaceman in the Court of King Arthur thing. You know, it's like he turns up, he's so far in the future that when they're sort of saying, oh, you know, you have to, you know, have a joust and you have to go in, you know, you have to do this, that, and the other because you're a witch, and he's like, fuck that, you're a bunch of ingrates, you know, I need to get the fuck out of here because this is just absolutely wrong on every level. If you did that, that's fine, but the problem is you're supposed to be rooting for her, and all she's doing is just kind of being a bit of a dick all the way through the film. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, and you know, and like I say, I'm all for pointing things out. I'm all for making those kind of distinctions between one era and another. That's absolutely fine. That's the bread and butter of any time travel story, full stop. But not if it's supposed to be comedy and it does that Rainier Wolfcastle from The Simpsons thing of going, that is rubbish. That is the joke. You know, and it's just like, that is the joke. And it's, no, just pointing things out isn't a joke. It's just pointing things out.
It's like with the school team. That in her time, it's the Red Devils. In the past, it's the Red Indians. I think that could have been a nice detail, giving you the period setting. It didn't really need a comment on it.
Yeah.
But you just had to see that the name had changed. That would give you that, oh, we're back in time. And, you know, people, we all know why the name was changed.
That's the Twin Pine Mall thing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You know, but when you just sort of highlight it, it loses any resonance or magic.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of kind of this kind of, in all aspects of the script, it's kind of the idea that she goes back in time and finds out her mum was one of the school bitches in this sort of sub-Heathers kind of clique.
Yeah.
That had huge, far more potential to be developed into a plot point and a moral dilemma, but it's just kind of it's quickly forgotten about and chucked away. If you know what I mean, it's kind of and the whole the reason why the killer's after them.
Yeah,
that was just like thrown away in a couple of lines where, in a better, stronger script, she would have worked that out like a detective.
Yeah.
She go like, "Who's Fat Pam? What happened to Fat Pam? I got the newspaper morgue, and I'll look in this high school newspaper, blah blah blah, and piece it together."
Yeah.
Rather than just being chucked out in a couple of lines near the end
and getting sold by a third party character who, up until that point, was completely out of the picture. To be honest, and that's the other problem. It does that whole thing of. Doesn't just so much as kind of nod at things as literally put up a massive neon sign going, look, what about if it was two killers like Scream?
That's where a film really falls down. If you're turning around and saying, look, we are like this, we are doing the very similar thing to this, like the Back to the Future thing, like the Scream thing, and many other things that it did, then that means that your film knows that it's not as good as any of these whatsoever.
And not only that, but it's also sitting there going, this is shorthand, so we don't have to explain it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing I hate with pop culture references in general. I mean, I know we've just done like 35 minutes in the previous half going, oh, talking about Christopher Lee and 1930s gangsters and fucking whatever. But the point is, okay, you're here. You've been, the audience has been here for 169 episodes. If you don't know where we're going with this stuff now, I don't know what to tell you. But this movie is going, okay, I haven't got time to explain how I find a scientist, how I find a new time machine, how I've done this, how I've done that. I'm just going to go, it's like Back to the Future. And then when you go, well, isn't Back to the Future that one where you get wiped out of time by changing time? Oh, no, the time travel's a bit like Endgame, which tells us that specifically it's not like Back to the Future. Oh, right, okay. Wouldn't it be funny if there was two killers, like Scream? What? It's just like... That's not script. That's not showing.
You have to go do homework, don't you? It's the equivalent of it's in the comics. It's in these previous films that you may or may not have seen.
Well, it's the Force Awakens C-3PO red arm, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose you're wondering how I got this red arm. Not really.
No.
But if you go into these comics, you'll find out. It's just like, I don't give a fuck. So
it's also is kind of, if you're going to rip off films, you try and disguise what you're ripping off. You don't name drop them.
And you
certainly, I mean? You can actually get away with doing that because, famously, there are only so many stories and many have been recycled many times. But if you tell it in an interesting way new, people won't notice.
Yeah. What was that, Dal?
Did you notice also the time limit was forgotten? They mentioned it. Oh, yeah. If you don't do it by this time, okay, you're going. That's it. You're stuck here. Oh shit! I better get something done. And then that kind of just that was the thing that happened. It was a thing with some stuff on it.
Oh, that was a phone running out of battery, isn't it? Now someone from the past actually works out how long a battery lasts for now on mobile phones. Like, no, give over.
Well, my thought was always, why don't you just turn the fucking thing off? I mean, it's not like you're using it at all for anything at all.
Yeah, it's just trying to ping cell towers that aren't there.
And it's not going to get a signal, is it?
No.
So yeah, no. But I mean, that kind of goofy stuff I don't mind so much. But it was just, I just found that it wanted to put a 2.5 hour movie into a 90-minute runtime. So it literally went, okay, rather than explain my plot, I'm just going to point at the things that you as an audience should be savvy enough to remember and then fill in the blanks for me. And that was just like, okay, no, I'm out.
Mm.
You know?
See, everything that it did bad. I know I've just said this, but as we said, like the I think the humour comes from that point in at stuff, and I didn't find that particularly funny, really. I don't remember. The only thing, as you said, Jim, about the this is a crime scene, nobody moved, and I thought, okay, that's cool. Everyone disperses.
Yeah, everyone runs
no one
away,
has any control over that. It's mildly amusing. That's all right. Apart from that, the slasher side of things, it was very weak.
Yeah.
Well, for a start, the killer's mask should have been an 80s icon of some.
Yeah, it was like some sort of terrible Max Headroom thing.
It was like if Max Headroom and Beavis and Butthead had a baby mask. That's
Yeah.
what it looked like.
It was almost
Whereas-
Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo wasn't out during the 80s.
Yeah, I know it wasn't, but that's what it looked like.
Mm.
Put dark glasses on it, and well, there you go.
Oh, mama.
Johnny Bravo's 90s, isn't he?
Yeah.
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 But yeah, that was a missed opportunity there. And again, just laziness.
Mm.
But it was just kind of, a lot of it was just kind of like, oh come on, you could do a lot more with this than you're actually doing. You know what I mean? There's so much that can be mined here and brought out, but there's a certain look American teen comedies have, which you should have been emulating. There's certain look, there's certain tropes to 80 slashers as well, which you could be, you could be emulating, and you get the. You just don't get the vibe from it that I think you should have had, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking on the quotes on IMDb, and it tells you something where like the quotes that are kind of being brought up here are things like when Norm Desbage goes, "Men showing emotion, fascinating. Stay tuned." And that's kind of like the big joke. It's like, okay, and then there's Jamie going, and there's the racism pointing at the cartoon Indian, and then there's, do you want to see the time travel? You want to see Back to the Future? Not me. I hate time travel movies. They never make any sense. It's like, it's just all it's not subtle about any of it. It's just like so on the nose. It's literally batting you over the head.
But it's all, some of the things are like the weed gag, and like the report, men showing emotions. Kind of, I'm sorry, there's a rule in comedy. You have to have truth in comedy. As Homer Simpson said, "It's funny because it's true." Men showing emotions wouldn't be a big deal ever, really.
No.
You know what I mean? That's one of those stupid ideas we have about the past. We have it now about the 80s. People had it about men in the 80s, 70s. It is a news reporter wouldn't make that sort of observation because it's not. It doesn't add up. Likewise, we know when she gives, "I've got a sample of the killer's blood to the police," they wouldn't just go, "No, I haven't heard of DNA."
Yeah,
they've heard of blood types. They wouldn't just throw that away. You know what I mean? It doesn't. Again, it's kind of. I did check the ages of the screenwriters, and some of them were born in the 70s. And it's like, guys, we were fucking asleep. Come on, this is pandering to a very poorly realised version of the 80s that doesn't look like the 80s. But it's also there's no empathy with the period or any kind of understanding of what it was like, other than some very lazy and cheap point scoring, which doesn't work as commentary or comedy.
Yeah. It's just, and that's the problem. I just sat there kind of wanting to like it all the time, and it just kept not fulfilling any of it. It wasn't scary. The humor was kind of there, but it was there in a kind of, like I say, bloody obvious way. And the only thing I found remotely interesting was as she was changing stuff in the past, things were changing in the future, and you were seeing them realize that. But even then, it's like that whole thing of, oh, there's only the creepy old dude in the future who's the character we're following, and he's not the guy who's knowledge all about the Sweet 16 killer, and it's like, oh, I wonder who it could be.
Mm.
And at no point is there a mystery to that at all. I think the reveal that it was the principal in the past, yeah, fine. But as you say, there was no detective work there. He just got skewered by third level character. That was that. And then they went, oh fuck, Scream. Wouldn't it be better if we had two killers?
Can I just ask? Did anybody get the who the killers were? Did you guess?
No.
I did. I got the one from the past, and then Ree was like, the other one was this bloke, and it's.
Well, I mean,
when there was two killers,
I'm proud of myself for that.
Nice.
When there was two killers, I thought, oh, he's the creepy guy from the present. I did have my suspicions about the once and future principal, but I dismissed it because I thought, well, if it was him, why didn't he kill the fourth one? What stopped him? You know what I mean?
She was nice to him. He said that in the present. She was always really nice to me, and that's why he did. That's what I'm guessing anyway. So.
Can I tell you what I was hoping for?
Go on.
So I around about, it was before it was mentioned about the Scream and the two killers. I thought, okay, this is interesting. Maybe because the time travel element of this just comes out of left field. It's weird. It's not built up to or anything like that, and it's not in the title. You're not going in there with any expectations, or I wasn't anyway, personally. And so it being time travel was like, oh, okay, this feels a bit awkward, but okay, let's roll with this. And I was hoping that the killers were going to be Jamie and in a kind of loop. And then when you look back at the very beginning of the episode where you've got the bloke with doing the podcast, yes, okay, he has a podcast, and 5 people dressed up in masks, I was hoping that there's going to be 5 versions of her.
Oh.
Where they've gone round in loops. But it wasn't that clever to do that at all. And so, no, I had no chance of guessing who this was. And really, wasn't that fussed about guessing who it was. Because it didn't really mean anything.
Well, the whole thing of her trying to prevent the killings, I thought, was very just half-arsed. And it's kind of, I bought her as an intelligent character. But when she went to the cops going, hey, I'm basically Marty McFly from the future, it's kind of, really? Would anyone think that would pass muster? That, that is your opening gambit to be listened to.
Yeah.
It's kind of, come on. No one would go with that. It sounds, you sound crazy. You will sound crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of, and that's kind of like, again, just laziness in the scripting. But the whole thing of kind of, when she realizes that the past can be changed and she can affect the past, that should be a far bigger plot point. That should pay off in the final act. You know what I mean? That should be setting something up, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
I say that it's so frustrating because I said the ideas that have potential. I mean, I get why kind of the whole invention of the time machine. I thought, well, really, it's a science school project. Oh, come on. But equally, I thought, okay, well, fair enough. You can't have her be friends with a Doc Brown sort of character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got to do something different, and they didn't come up with anything particularly good. But I'll wave that away because I know it's hard to invent a time machine. On reflection, I thought it'd been far better if it had been more like a big scenario, to throw another 80s reference, where it was kind of like a wish to go back. And, it's more of it's not like scientific time travel. It's more kind of mystical karma thing that if she can put stuff right, she can go back
Yeah.
because she would never have gone, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have worked a lot better.
Hmm.
And be a better driving point rather than this half-assed. Well, I'm going to save my mom, but there's also a time limit as well. Which one we're going with? I don't know. Let's pay off neither in the last act properly.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, Darren, sorry, you've been quiet, mate. You want to jump in on any of this? Sorry, I keep rolling straight in after the guys, so I'll take that as a sleep. Right. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say the thing with the premise is it's a really solid premise, and you could do something really funny. You know, like when we sang about Ready or Not, and one of the things that I found a bit of a letdown was the kind of way it sold itself was kind of one of those films which was going to be like, and she gets her own back on the people, and she takes, they've picked on the wrong person sort of thing, a bit like The Hunt. Yeah, where the sort of hunters become the hunted because you fucked with the wrong person. And I suddenly thought, well, if she's going back with all this pre-knowledge, I thought it was going to be really cool because she's going to foil each and every one of the murders. And in doing so, the murderer in the future is going to be sort of trying to off them in the future instead. Wherever she's not, essentially. And I thought that was going to be and that would have been a thing in and of itself, that you could turn the time travel into it's her weapon. She knows events, she knows how they're going to play out.
Yeah, see, I think that's what I was hoping for. Like a time crimes type thing.
Yeah, but the problem was that the time travel element is quickly dismissed.
No, it's just a mechanism to get her back there. That's all it is.
Yeah, there's no other ramifications to it, really.
No, apart from the very end. Fucking time travel. But but yeah. So my problem is I just kept. Oh, is he fallen? He's fallen off his chair. You with us, Dal?
I am with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Do you want a milky tea?
Yes, please.
Can I get you a bicket?
With some potatoes.
Oh God. I was just gonna say I was kind of hoping for more from the premise. The 80s bashing aside, and fair enough. The writers do what they want. That's fine. It's not like it wasn't something to bash, but it's just like, that just seemed like okay, fine. But my problem was that the horror didn't do horror, and the slashers stuff didn't do what good slasher stuff does, which is build up tension, build up sort of like anxiety, and the comedy didn't deliver the comedy. It was really just watching Jamie being like, the fuck is going on, and sort of being one step behind the killer even though she knew the future.
It felt as if it was teen-splaining. Now, we've all had mansplaining. Now, this was the teenage version of that, of explaining things until you actually get them through into your head. And that's what it felt a lot of the time. And then I think she went into this weird thing of wandering around that house where they was having the party and waiting for the first murder to be to take place, and just going around and calling out her name. Was it Tiffany? I think it was Tiffany. Just calling out her name constantly. And it's like the writers have got this character and they don't know where she needs to be. And so we'll just fill time by her wandering around shouting out the word Tiffany. It just felt empty and such a waste. They could have done so much more with this.
They could have.
Being-
They could have had them both being chased by the serial killer, and then finally getting away. And she turns to her and goes, "I think we're alone now." See?
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Boom.
Yeah.
Dum, dum, dum,
There
dum,
we
dum,
go.
dum, dum, dum,
You see,
dum,
you,
dum,
you
dum.
could have done a ton of stuff like that
Yep.
with 80s references and, really.
Mm.
Got the thing that I did really want to like this.
Mm.
I mean, like Leo, I was giving it every chance. I was like, okay, come on. You can do it, little bird. You can fly. Oh, no. Hit the floor again. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. There's. It just. I think it just lacked charm, which is a bit weird to say with something with a slasher in it. But everything's got something you can latch onto, and I didn't latch onto any of it.
Well, no, I mean, part of my problem with this is that there are two films that are very similar to this. One is Happy Death Day,
Yes.
which is kind of like a slasher Groundhog Day. But there's also another one called Final Girls.
Yes.
That
one. That was good.
Yeah. And where, literally a daughter finds herself going back in time and she's in the cult slasher film her mother was in. And both those, they do the horror comedy thing a lot better, but they have far better character arcs than they have the missing heart that this movie was lacking. So I think the lead actress, she really carried this movie. She's got tons of charisma, quite she's very, very talented, and it's kind of like you needed it. She did well with what she had. But you know what I mean? She needed a lot more. The film needed a lot more because, as good as her performance is, it's like the old saying, you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear.
Yeah.
And this sort of settled for making a novelty luggage tag out of it.
Yeah. It's a shame, really, because like I say, the more you think about the premise, the more you think, oh, there's a dozen different ways you could do this. Even if you just ripped off a Quantum Leap episode and just had her being in the past trying to stop her mother's murder in the past, or uncovering the killer so that in the future she can go back and catch them at the in a more infirm age or something like that, or even just getting to appreciate where her parents come from, because again that Back to the Future element of seeing what your parents were like back at high school, they tried to subvert it by instead of making mum, well, not really subvert it, but do the mum's just horny all the time and she's a bit of a cow and she's a bit of a bully and she's not what I expected her to be, and dad's a hottie. I thought, oh, right, so we are going to have the full Back to the Future experience of the dad pursuing the daughter. But, sort of in a sort of like, hey, sexy lady sort of thing. And
See, now you couldn't have that, though. That would be wrong, and this is what that film is pointing at. No, that's wrong. That would be the T-shirt version of this film.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the FBI, the federal booby inspector.
Oh, right. Okay.
You've just pointed at the T-shirt and gone, no, that is wrong. And then Back to the Future did the mum falling in love with her son, but really didn't know anything about it. And you couldn't do that again because that's wrong.
Yeah, which is fine, but I'm just saying that, they alluded to it initially because he comes out of the pool and Jamie turns around, sees him come out of the pool and goes, hubba, or something very similar. And you think, oh, I see. So this is going to be the other thing. So she's, but, again, it's that whole, we're going to subvert Back to the Future, but actually we're not. We're just going to leave those threads hanging just so that you think that we're doing more than we are.
Yeah.
And it was, as soon as it was done, it was forgotten.
I mean, there's quite a few sort of movies that play on this idea, and there's there's like 16 Again, and a couple of others of sort of people going back to their parents' past or their own past. There's also kind of like the other sort of genre of the role reversal, where it's like Big or Freaky Friday. You know what I mean? Where again you have that kind of stranger in a strange land, where you find someone has been generation swapped somehow, and a lot of those have a strong plot. The ones that work have a strong plot line of where the characters learn something about their significant others, by being in their shoes, by being in their time. Whereas this, you don't really. The premise, oh God, she was in like a Heather style clique. That was such a great plot hook that wasn't just developed, which is a shame. And it's like, her mum's a secret sci-fi geek. There was nothing thrown in.
And then forgotten.
Though I did get one laugh. I don't think it was intentional, but in the stack of videotapes, one was labelled Buckaroo Banzai.
Yes.
Buckaroo Banzai. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's frustrating. It really is, because it is one of those films that I just thought, you think with a quick redraft and a little bit more thought put into some of the extra elements, you could just be fine. You could just really lift this film up. I mean,
mate, I think it was hanging on to too many films too strongly.
Maybe.
There was a video I saw on Twitter this weekend.
Twitter?
So, I'm sorry. I went onto the interwebs and I was using my pocket telephone to search the interwebs.
No, what you gotta tell me is you gotta tell me you were on the Twitter.
Yeah. I was on the Twitter and I saw a video of a band. I don't know when it was, but this band was doing their own song, and they said, "Oh yeah, we're like a millennials, and we're going to be doing this song, and here's our new song. It's about shit, and it's called Shit." And so they start playing this song, and it's the riff of, is it Brain Stew from Green Day? And it's as if they think that nobody else knows that song, and so they've nicked the riff from it, and they're just going and singing their words over it, and the whole audience just goes, "Hang on a minute, what the fuck are you doing? We do know this song. You do know that."
Yeah.
Oh, and it's like, okay. And this film feels like it's doing the same sort of thing. It is mentioning these films, and yet we're like, yeah, we know. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to try and pull the wool over our eyes and do your own little thing? But it doesn't. It's got too many films latched onto it, and it's done it by itself. It's told us that it knows these films are there. Maybe if it hadn't and it tried to do it, we would have called it out and gone, look, it's trying to do this, trying to do that, but it's trying to do it in a different way. But it hasn't done that. It's gone, no, this is relevant to our movie. This is relevant to our movie, and you have to deal with this. And it just suffers from that.
Yeah, it's a dangerous thing that films do, is you cite a movie at your peril.
Yeah.
Because the first thing you do is by lifting up the lid and going, this is our film, really. We know it, and we're calling it out before you do.
Yeah.
You're immediately saying that they're either saying, what Jim alluded to earlier, which is they know the film isn't as good, or the other thing they do is they turn around and they're sort of saying, well, we're going to call it out, and we're going to aspire to that.
Yeah. But that doesn't make it any good.
No, but the problem is that they're doing it to sort of shortcut the audience's criticisms almost. But the problem is that by making it explicit what you're doing, by going Scream, Back to the Future, Halloween, a dozen other movies, Endgame is the other one, but you're immediately saying, we know these films, you should know these films, we're going to riff on them, you should understand the riffs. We're not writing these riffs. You just have to see them and understand them. But the thing that goes into my head is, I could watch Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Back to the Future did this really well.
Yeah, I haven't seen Scream for a while. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. Why am I not watching Avengers Endgame?
But calling it out, I don't think we should let these films off for just calling it out. You're right. They're trying to call it out before we call it out, and it's no. We would have got there anyway. It doesn't mean because you said it first, you don't
get a pass for that.
No, you don't get a pass for that. It just means okay, we can now genuinely grab that film and relate you to that. And put you up against it, and you will fall down every single time because you know that is a superior film to what you've just created.
As H.P. Lovecraft said, do not call up what you can't put down.
Ah. Yeah. There you go.
And so if you're going to fucking name drop classics like Scream and Back to the Future, you know what I mean? You're going to have a pretty good film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To get away with that. Because if not, you, as Elton says, you are just holding up a big mirror that's going to topple over and crush you.
Yeah.
It's not a smart strategy of kind of like, what if they think this is a bit like Back to the Future? Or if we call it out, we'll get away with it. It's meta, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Meta, you know what I mean? Back to school, please. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh. I think that's happening a lot with movies these days as well.
Yeah, well, it's sort of like the secondary infection of this nostalgia wave thing, whereby you pull up the old nostalgia, but you do it by going, look at this, you remember this, you remember that, but you do it in a way that looks like it's part of the story rather than you just doing nostalgia for nostalgia's sake.
Well, you're having directors and producers and film writers and script writers and whatever who are now making films, and they think that we don't know those films as well. It's been done many, many times before. People have written songs and they think they can get away with it, but no, people have long memories. People have DVD collections that we will sit down and go, oh no, that's that, and that's that. But these new creators are thinking, well, no one's seen Back to the Future for a long time. That's like an 80s film. Who watches 80s films? I think I'm my only one in my class that has seen it. And like, okay, you may be the only one in your class that has seen it, but the rest of the world now has the internet, and we've all seen that.
Can I ask?
And they're kind of kidding themselves.
Yeah. Go on, Dal.
About the actual setting and the way things look, do you think it's as if somebody has created the 80s listening to somebody describing it rather than experiencing it?
Well, I think it's even
AI generated.
And that's even lazier than that. It's kind of, well, the 80s were basically the same as now, so you know, just put some period tunes on and we'll be fine. And it's kind of, no, there are so many things that are like little touchstones that can,
double denim.
Evoke a period. I mean, there's two ways you can go. As I said, you can really sort of do the very sort of subtle, sort of Stranger Things, where it is kind of, there's all these references, but they're woven into the characters' lives, like they were woven into our lives as it happened. Like Ghostbusters coming out, or playing D&D, or the fucking horrible fake wood chip wallpaper, whatever. You can do it the lazy way, like it's the 70s, everyone's riding around on space hoppers and chopper bikes. You know what I mean?
With flares.
In a way that no one did back in the day, but at least you get the flavour, even if it's inauthentic. You present a cartoon version. Whereas this, it really made no effort whatsoever.
Well, it's interesting. I was going to say, if you just type into Google 1980s look, and just see every single image that came up. There's more colour in any one of those random images that you could pull up, and bigger shoulders and wider necklines and madder check colours and hair fucking frizzies and leggings and you name it, than there was in this whole film. And you just think, yeah, to take Darren's point, it is like someone described it rather than saw it or did any research to it. But but then again, we're kind of that generation, so it's kind of picking on our teenagers, so our teenage lives. So do you think maybe we're having a bit of a reaction to that?
But it's also in other movies like Back to the Future, though. It's kind of there's a very different look to the town when he's gone back in time, and you don't get that kind of everything's different. It's like everything just more or less looks the same, and that doesn't work. You don't get the feeling of the shift.
No.
He went back 30 years there, didn't he?
Yeah.
She's going back 40 and plus years.
Yeah.
There should be a lot more of that kind of stranger in a strange land, fish out of water sort of stuff. As I say, I was surprised that two of the screenwriters were born in the 70s, and it kind of you should know better, because there's all sorts of things kind of like, things we grew up with, like using a dial phone.
Yeah.
Which is, completely bizarre to younger generations. There's tons of things that have changed radically we take for granted.
Well, it'd
be interesting. You could do it in a way that wasn't bashing the young kids. You could do it in a way that actually reminds people who live there, you go, oh my God, it was really different then.
Yeah.
You know what?
You know what I mean? People had like a little phone in Rolodexes by their phone, and the phones are all out in the hallway.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Shit like that that we've all moved on from, and we've sort of forgotten how much it's changed.
Yeah,
the thing about
and kind of Back to the Future, I think, did that very well.
Yeah, go on, Dal.
The thing about the phone, you could have had a really nice bit of tension there, where she's trying to call the police, but she has to do it with a dial phone rather than a push button, and the killer's slowly trying to get through the door, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
and she's got a long number.
Yeah.
And she still hasn't picked up the receiver to actually make the call.
But that's what I'm saying. But I was gonna step in and just say, maybe in the film's defense, and this is just me, one of the things that really defines the 80s, as Darren pointed out earlier, is the music, and a lot of the fashions tied to those music. Do you think this film was actually hamstrung a little bit because things like they couldn't get the rights to, I don't know, Madonna and Michael Jackson and that kind of stuff, which would really kind of infuse the film with something else? Like you could have put one of the male characters in a sort of like, the double denim sort of like Bon Jovi kind
Canadian
of vibe.
tuxedo.
Yeah, the Canadian tuxedo. But you know what I mean? You could, a lot of the 80s was really, well, it coined the phrase pop culture, didn't it? I mean, it literally was where things like Cameo and and Madonna and Michael Jackson and all those kind of bands were kind of blowing up all over the place, and Culture Club and all this kind of thing, and they were.
Well, I think the film dropped the ball again. This shows a laziness, a lack of understanding. Why pick 1987? 1985 or 83 will be far. 84 will be far better. 87 is getting to the fag end of the 80s, where it was becoming rather nothingy.
Well,
but it's also kind of, if you went sort of earlier in the 80s, you're in more of the peak 80s period. You got more to draw on, and it wouldn't necessarily matter. You couldn't get the big names like your Springsteens or your Jacksons. There's tons. I mean, if you look at any kind of old music programs, one thing I guarantee you'll find is when you stick on something from the 80s, like any music program you care to name, you'll have the big hits you remember, but you'll find the charts are also full of songs that were big hits at the time that you've completely forgotten about because they weren't by the big names. And all of those are probably going dirt cheap to pick up rights-wise.
Like "Shut Up in Your Face" by Joe Milcher.
Well, exactly, yeah.
But you know what I mean? There's a lot more you could have worked with there if you'd had if you could have just been fucking asked for 2 fucking minutes to get your nose out the Coke tray and go to fucking Wikipedia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the laziness of this film. The more I think about it, the more it really pisses me off because it's kind of, you're not trying to struggle through monographs about Etruscan art to recreate an ancient period no one knows nothing about. It's the fucking 80s. There's fan sites galore. You know what I mean? There's no excuse for this piss poor bollocks.
There's people still alive that lived through it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And here we are.
I know, but you know what I mean? It's kind of like it's almost like almost like a contempt for us.
Yeah,
and not just a young audience as well, as any audience, not just the old farts, but you know what I mean. It's that idleness of it that kind of come on. You know what I mean? There's so much more you could have done to evoke this decade. It would have given this film flavour.
I mean, bloody hell, just include some Whitney Houston and you would have been 90% of the way there, wouldn't you? Or,
absolutely,
or Queen, or Human League, or you know what I mean, Prince, for fuck's sake. I mean, you know.
Do you know what? I think if you wanted to add a bit more authenticity to it, don't go for the big mega hits, right? Go for every 5 tracks off of Now That's What I Call Music from around those times, right? And you'll get something we kind of did slightly well in the charts, but isn't the same old things like, let's say, Aha or like Banana Rama Venus, that kind of thing. Although I've got to say that's not one that's normally used a lot.
But you know, Mr. Broken Wings.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Cutting Crew, I Died in Your Arms Last Night.
Yeah, or even, and you know, this might be a little bit out there, but Huey Lewis and the Power of Love.
Never mind. You want a real classic like No Sleep Till Bedtime by Morris Minor and the Majors.
Yeah, exactly.
If you really want to...
There's so many records you could have probably picked up for a song that would have been super evocative of the time. Whereas this is just so weirdly off point. You know what I mean? It really kind of like, oh, come on. This is your selling point going back to the 80s, and yet you're making no effort to evoke 80s culture.
Yeah, it's not like it needed more cowbell. It needed more guitar, didn't it?
Well, absolutely.
But you know, like I say, maybe that's part of the problem. That to evoke the 80s properly, it's not just the fashions, but it's the music and and a lot of the marketing and stuff around it. I mean, you tell me that there wasn't like posters for Ghostbusters absolutely everywhere in the 80s, or you know, people walking around with Frankie Relax T-shirts and everything. Yeah. Everything in the 80s. Go on, Dow.
I didn't see a single can of Tab either. You know, a single can of Tab.
No Pacers, no Quattro,
no Skips.
Yeah. No Tizer.
No Lucasade.
No Coca-Cola yo-yos or anything.
Just fucking rubbish. I mean, no, but the thing is, it is that thing, isn't it? That so much of 80s culture was tied to things that were brands, that were you know, big things that would cost an absolute fortune to license. You can get some off-brand library copy of Mr. Sandman and set it in the 50s, and you'd be fine. You know what I mean? But you know, go to like 1985, and you wouldn't be able to go anywhere without like "Take on Me" by bloody Aha playing and out of every fucking thing, or you know, some track from bloody Tango in the Night by Fleetwood Mac everywhere. You know,
yeah, it's all corporate, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So
the corporate world has started.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So you know, Duran everywhere, and I'm just wondering whether or not maybe that was the thing that kind of scuppered it all.
I think that's just for the soundtrack, but there's so much more with the look and the decor you could have done, you know, to be evocative.
Yeah.
And it was just very kind of just unconvincing.
Mm.
The fact that Mom seems to have her own, like, AV sort of suite where she sits and watches sci-fi movies is kind of. Did that happen in the 80s? I don't think it did. I think the height of sort of teenage independence is they had a phone in their room in America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of, it just, everything just seemed to be off point to, to give you that shift back. But then again, still, even if you'd done that, you still would have a flawed movie because the plotting isn't good enough. I say it does. It is like notes for a plot rather than a full script. And that's the problem.
Bloody hell. You know what? I've just done a Google on the charts in America for 1987.
Okay.
And there's some good stuff you could have used that wasn't exactly... People wouldn't think of straight away. Like,
okay, go for it, Dal.
All right, let's go. Greetings, pop pickers. Here's a rundown of the American pop charts for 1987. Not off. Listen, at number 37, we've got Control by Janet Jackson. I Knew You Were Waiting for Me by Aretha Franklin and George Michael. Heart and Soul by T'Pau. Causing a Commotion by Madonna.
See, that's the problem. Out of them four, I think only T'Pau would be in reach. You've just gone Janet Jackson, George Michael, T'Pau, and what was the other one? Madonna,
right?
Yeah. So T'Pau is the only one you'd be able to reach, I think.
Pick up for a packet of biscuits.
Well, all right, how about this then? Let's see. Touch Me, I Want Your Body by Samantha Fox. Number 44.
You've got that for now, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. Luca by Susan Vega at number 52.
If you got Venus by Bananarama, you could have had Luca.
Yeah. Carrie by Europe.
You definitely could have had Carrie by Europe.
Oh, yeah. That wouldn't have been a problem. Let's see. What
Anything
else?
from Def Leppard. Surely.
Pardon?
Like that. What? I said Def Leppard.
Breakout by Swing Out Sister, right? Okay.
Yeah, you could have that.
You wouldn't. You don't really hear that one. Like what else? When Smokey Sings by ABC.
You could have. You missed the big one, Dal.
What's that?
Devastating Dave, the turntable slave, and the Zip Zap Rap.
Fuck off, really?
Yeah.
Well, how about Diamonds by Herb Albert? No, I've never heard of that one either.
No, you could have had that.
What else? If you really want to push it, the bow out and spend £2.50, there's Nothing's Going to Change My Love for You by Glenn Medeiros.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, I said there's tons of what you could have picked up for a song that'd be more than happy.
Well,
I mean, they've got New Order and Bananarama, who are quite big hitters, so they had some splash to cash for the music.
Yeah, but hold on, I bet you Bananarama is owned by some subsidiary that is owned by Amazon.
Probably
now,
could very well be. Oh, I bet it's Respect Yourself by Bruce Willis. Fuck me, I remember that one.
What year was Paula Abdul and
Straight Up?
No, not Straight Up.
The one where she's fucking the alley cat.
Yeah, the one with the alley cat.
What? It's
When Opposites Attract.
Opposites Attract. Yeah, there you go.
What? The 2 step forward, take 2 steps back. We go together because I'm dressed like a cat.
It ain't fiction, just a natural.
Get Darren Diamond on it.
Yeah.
Or there's that.
We could be lovers. I am a cat.
You're a cartoon cat. How's this going to work?
I'm a cat. This time was very different.
I love that thing on Family Guy when Peter Griffin's singing the, was it Axel F? And then another.
The more I think about it, why did they go back to 87? Of all the years in the 80s you could have gone back to. That seems very. It is going to.
It was
that just
turning
sums
into
it
the
up.
90s.
Well, exactly. It's such a miss. You know what I mean? Go in the first half of the 80s, and in your golden, but 87, fuck off.
You know what it's like, do you? Right? Okay. Imagine the music of the 80s is like a packet of ham. Right, okay, right. It's a pork chop, right? It's a pork chop, right? So during things like
Packet of ham.
you got a pork chop, okay? You know what it's like.
Yeah.
As it gets older, that pork chop, it starts coming a little bit grayer, right? Okay,
It starts getting that green sheen, doesn't it?
exactly. That sort of like that silvery, sort of that funny sort of rainbow silvery effect.
Yes.
That if you tilt it into the light, you can see. That's what 1987 was for the 80s. It was the that funny coloured rainbow sheen.
Yeah.
Because man, looking at some of this stuff, you could already hear the fucking sampling machines kicking in around.
Well, so
about this time.
87. I mean, over here we were getting the first house records.
Oh, don't even get me.
And
Love can't turn
the
around.
novelty sample records sort of coming
this
in,
is how
and
it's
Euro
done.
dance starting to come through as well.
Yeah.
Love can turn around.
I can't
Yeah,
turn
yeah.
around.
Well, love, in inverted commas, maybe try some Pilates, be a bit more flexible than you were.
Yeah. Love, maybe lay off the craft cheese slices.
Oh, you see now. You mentioned about Whitney Houston. This is when you can tell the 90s were on its almost established. It's didn't we almost have it all? It's like, that's one of the lesser mid 80s sounding sort of Whitney Houston
Yeah,
tunes.
That's before Bodyguard, isn't it? So
it is.
yeah.
It is. That kind of really kind of get a bit washed up by that point until the Bodyguard song give her a major boost.
Yeah, the one about
Coke Habit.
the
Nope,
one.
didn't say that.
No,
Nope.
Steady.
Easy.
Oh, here we go. La Bamba by Los Lobos. This like the
But
all
what
the
about
inspirations
things
draining out of this age now.
What about things like Crockett's theme and Axel F?
But they were all the early 80s, so that's the thing.
Yeah.
87, you're into a bit of a wasteland.
Yeah,
And where kind of all the big 80s trends are sort of dying off.
yeah.
And
Once
it's
Wham
kind
had
of,
gone, that was it. Once
That's
Wham had
it.
gone, yeah.
a light had gone out.
Yeah. Grungy's starting to pop its little head through
Yeah,
in 88.
yeah, that's it. See? Well, I think seeing as we've gone into sort of musical history and it's turned into four old geezers talking about the 80s, maybe we should wrap it up. before we hit the midnight hour.
Hey, rapping. That's 87.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well there you go. That's the death of music right there, wasn't it? Screech.
Yeah. What was it? What was it? Timmy Mallet, Polka
Timmy
Dot
Mallet, he's
Bikini.
Wackaday.
Yeah.
Bumble Arena.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think I've still got that record in the garage.
Yeah.
Itsy bitsy teeny weeny itty bitty teeny. No, hang on.
Yeah. Hold on.
Itty bitty ditty bag.
Yellow polka dot bikini. Though we've obviously gone past the Buggles and video killed the radio star.
Yeah,
at this
that's
point,
a
haven't we?
distant memory. That is.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, the early 80s. There we are.
Yeah.
The records that
99 Red
started in the 80s.
Balloons.
Luftballon, please.
Luftballon, sorry.
Yeah. There you go. We're in break dance. Get your lino out in front of McDonald's in Catford.
Okay. Friction burn on your head.
Christopher.
Yeah.
Are we in there? Oh, you don't want me to go through the entire 100 hot singles? Billboard end of year hot singles. For
Hold on.
1987.
Maybe that should be a spin-off podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe it should.
Old gits talk about old records.
Yeah. While Lee, just with no knowledge whatsoever, just does the top 50 chart music.
I'll fire up the Shonky Lab soon.
Yeah, go for it. Anyway. Right. Okay. I think unless we've got anything to add apart from it weren't very 80s, even though it was set in the 80s, and it was telling us all the films it was ripping off, and it wasn't ripping them off very good, and she was okay,
It was Julio Iglesias, for Christ's sake.
It was Julio Iglesias. Julio Double Glazius.
Do you want to know what the number one song for 1987 in America was?
Okay, hold on.
On the number one spot.
Go.
Walk Like an Egyptian, the Bangles.
Oh, look at that. There you go.
Oh,
Right there.
Never have got that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's a song with a bit of a fucking story as well. It's
Really?
not. Oh fuck yes! I was watching a.
Oh, maybe
YouTube.
Jamie could have pointed at that and
Yeah.
teen-splained that away.
Yep.
You do know that's problematic, and there's rebellion in Egypt at the moment. There's an uprising. The spring uprising is being subdued.
Is anyone in that bag Egyptian at all? I'm not too sure they
No, I
are.
don't think they were. I know they mostly like sort of like run. I mean, they're not much walking going on there.
Cultural
You know.
appropriation of Egyptians.
Yep.
Stereotyping of Egyptians. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, you do know they never dance like that, right?
They can actually move in 2D.
Yeah, they never
There's a lot
said
of
wayo,
photographs.
wayo. Yeah. Boom, ba-da-dum. Those headdresses are cultural appropriation. You shouldn't wear them. Okay, fine. Susanna
And the rest
Hoff.
of your clothes, damn it.
Yes.
Said a million 80s teenage boys.
Yeah, Susanna Hoffs. And on that note, right. Okay, so I think that's about it. Does anybody have anything additional to add apart from fuck you, David Renane, happy Dave? No, actually, I'm glad he suggested it because I was going to suggest it anyway at some point. But yeah, cool. Anyone got anything additional to add?
Well, it's a long time since we've heard from Technotronic. I think it's time we can deflate the jam.
Can we take it down? Fuck me! I tell you, that's been killing my electricity. Having that going all this time. Fucking hell!
This
Glad
beat
somebody-
is...
I was going to bring it up, but I thought, will I get beaten down if I mention it?
Well, every time I've ever gone near it, they keep telling me to pump it back up.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
must get on the phone to
and it-
Felly and the boys and.
And then when they fuck off, then bloody was it Elvis Costello turns up and tells me to pump it up as well, bastard. It's
Does he?
just- Yeah, yeah.
But
then,
he's not the way. He's fucking off down the pub. He's not even the one doing the pumping up. I wouldn't mind.
then Mars, they turn up and tell me to pump up the volume. It's just like, how much pumping did we do in the 80s?
But apparently a lot.
No,
got arms like tree trunks now, I know you have, yeah.
I have a joke. And I cannot use it. I will wait until we're in the green room, and I'm leaving it there.
Okay.
Right. Anyway, right. I think we shall wrap it up there. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. But if you have any opinions or would like to explain how the 80s weren't like the way we imagined them because we're rose-tinted expecting them, then do feel free to send your feedback in to feedback@Black Dog Podcast, or leave a message underneath our episode on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast. And do also state your age when you're telling us how the 80s were.
And they will tell you while you're wrong with a video playlist.
And we shall play some Cutting Crew at you and some Bruce Hornsby on the range, and we shall say good day, sir. I say good day.
Pumping the Jam by Technotronic featuring Smelly. There you go.
Yeah, we will hit you with Devastating Dave, the Turntable Slave, and follow that up with some Toto Africa, and you know it. Anyway,
Let's rock.
let's rock. Africa.
You need to get hold of the video of them doing Africa. You need to re-record the audio for that. Just have it like those videos, was it? The shredding ones, where they're just like, they look like they're strumming a guitar and it's just like, pa-ding, pa-tong, pa-ding.
Well, dogs that go for the night. They go restless, longing for some solitary company.
By the way, if nobody's actually watched them at all before, look up the Creed shreds, right? And just watch those videos. Fucking brilliant.
Oh.
Why am I always saying Jesse?
Nice. Right. Let's wrap it up now. Jim, it's your film
Yes.
to pick next week.
It is. It is.
Yeah, it is. So take me down to the place of Africa. Go on. What are we watching?
Right. I thought I'd do a new film.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is a remake of an 80s film.
Oh, good. Blimey, here we go.
This one got
So-
dodgy soundtracks and. Does it
Well,
get it right?
we'll find out. We'll find out.
It's Africa. It's Africa, is it?
I don't know. I have not seen it. However, we have seen the original, and we did do review it on this very show.
Oh,
We
lordy.
did. Oh, good lord.
It is literally just appeared on Amazon Prime.
It's G.I. Joe, isn't it?
And no, it's on G.I. Joe. I'm not playing my G.I. Jokey yet.
G.I. Joe.
Now, normally I would have just kicked this to the curb as being, oh, it's a remake of an 80s film. Fuck off.
Mm.
However, it stars an actor who I generally think has been fairly reliable in his choices of movie,
Mhm.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh.
And it is the remake of
Oh, my
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
It's time to be nice. Someone trying to do this, Sam Elliott.
Will anyone get crushed by a falling bear? We will discover. Will it be as homoerotic as the original?
Well, we shall find out.
So I'm looking forward to some wisdom from the old guy, whoever that may be.
From
I
this-
knew a fella who had a tube of Smarties for a nose once. And nothing. I just thought I'd interject that into the conversation. Yeah.
Well, sometimes life is like a box of chocolates. You stick your hands in it and it gets all sticky. Anyway, right. I don't know where I was going with that. So, okay, Elton, have you seen Roadhouse?
No, but it was on my list to watch. So yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
oh,
That's
yeah.
just moved up a little bit.
Okay, well, I would hope so because we're watching it by next week.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Darren, what about you?
I've not seen the new one, but I've got an affection for the old one. I've
Okay.
got to say, I don't know why.
Nice. Okie dokie. And well, yeah, same here. So we'll all find out together whether or not Jake Gyllenhaal's rippling pecs
Can hold a candle to Patrick Swayze.
can hold a candle to Patrick Swayze rippling hairstyle, and whether or not it's time to be nice and keep being nice until it's time not to be nice. So we'll find out. Yeah. Got nothing to say more than that. It's just like, okay, so it's Roadhouse and it's on Amazon Prime, I believe, isn't it?
I believe it is, yes.
It is. yeah.
Lovely. Right next to Totally Killer, if you like. You can just bump along one on the new releases. So, cool. Well, excellent. Well, before we leave, let's head over to Pimp's Corner. And Jim, tell us what's going on in Hypnagoria Land.
Well, on Comedy Club, we released our Easter special on Inseminoid. Yes, we are
Jesus.
going to hell.
Yes, you are.
And over on Hypnagoria, I've just released my latest chapter, the penultimate chapter of the history of Universal Horror. And in a couple of days' time, there'll be also a new review of the new Adam Neville novel, which is, frankly, fucking appalling but brilliant.
What? I don't know how to take that review.
It's a very, very harrowing novel to read, but very, very worth it. It's probably one of the best alien invasion novels I have read in a long, long time.
Ooh, now you have my
really,
attention.
really makes the idea of something has come out of space and it's fucked us over, and it's terrifying.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. And what's the novel called?
All the Fiends of Hell.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
That's a title to conjure with, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Cool. Okay, and that's all over at hypnagoria.com.
It is indeed.
Brilliant. Okie dokie. And Elton, what's going on with you at Rogue 2?
We just released The Great Escape on the Masters of the Air podcast, where me and Andy sit down. I watch it for the very first time. Shock, I know.
What? Really?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Jesus.
I know.
Right.
But no, I have seen it now, and 'tis good. 'Tis very good.
Yes.
'Tis classic.
They should almost show it every Christmas.
Didn't realise it was, there was like Christmas singing and stuff in there.
Oh, good Lord. Okay.
I know. I didn't know. I don't know.
Right.
It's one that just passed me by. So we have rectified that. We have reviewed it. We've stuck it on the end because it is relevant to the information given to you inside Masters of the Air.
Lovely, lovely. And that's over at rogue2media.com.
That is, yes.
Lovely jubbly. Yeah, I've got nothing to plug. Apart from my nasal cavity after that Toto Africa rendition. Darren, anything?
Nothing.
Nothing. Brilliant.
Oh,
Okay.
I've got something else I should mention.
Oh yes, Jim.
Just out today, I guested on The Great Derelict,
Mhm.
where I talked with Andy over matters of canon and continuity.
Oh good Lord. Such a conversation is a minefield on the in the world of science fiction.
Well, we talked about how it changed and where it came from and what's wrong with it, in no uncertain terms, in our opinion.
Oh,
but it's a very interesting discussion because, again, that's one of those things. You don't realize how much things have changed until you start paying attention. You go, well, hang on, actually. It wasn't that long ago. If you wanted to know about episodes of Star Trek, you had to find a book. It wasn't just there at a click of a button where it can not only tell you the transmission date, but the shoe size of the third lighting technician.
Yeah. Well, as I always say, I sat in a meeting room with a bunch of Lucasfilm execs once, and the running gag was, What's going on with this character? Oh, we'll just look it up in Wikipedia. Yes, it's our coffee morning laugh every morning. So, yeah, Wikipedia. Gotta love them. Because Lucasfilm get a laugh out of you every morning. So there you go. So, cool, excellent. And that's over at greatderelict.libsyn.com, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Brilliant. Okie dokie. Well, that's it. So, thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Alton.
No problem.
And we will see you all next week for Roadhouse. Roadhouse, where there is a house by a road. Roadhouse. Until then, take care, stay safe, and just remember, gonna take a lot to keep me away from you. Ain't nothing that 100 minutes more can ever do. I'm Mr. Freeze down to Africa. Gonna take some time to do the thing